Hello, dreamers. Welcome to the Dream Stream. I am your host, Yiskah Koock, and here another beautiful day with our dream sister, Ellen Ronis. Hi,
Hello.
Ellen.
Hey. Hello from beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And I can't believe it's the same exact temperature as it is here in upstate New York.
It is pretty funny. We're both having nice days. Yeah.
So, I was interested in what you were saying about the sighting of the bighorned owl.
Oh my God.
And I thought that would be great, as we spoke about, to talk about totem animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
The meanings of animals.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll just start by saying that, for many of us, but certainly for me, nature is like God to me, like the expression of whatever, like a higher consciousness or something. It's just where I feel the most connected. And so, needless to say, then when there's an animal sighting, it's kind of there's an excitement and it feels like it's meaningful. So
absolutely.
So
I also find meaning in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to hike, and I used to always, not always, but often find feathers. And that to me was also an affirmation from the universe.
Totally. I used to, when I lived in New York, I found feathers a lot more often because we had a lot of wild turkeys. I mean, you have a lot of wild turkeys. We don't have that, and we don't have as many.
In Santa Fe, we don't have wild turkeys here.
We actually don't have that. I mean, I'm sure they're around, but it's nothing like. Yeah, we really don't have that. Maybe more in the mountains or something. But anyway, yeah, I love the feather thing, and I actually miss finding feathers. Like
I know, I do too.
I also felt that's very significant.
Some years ago, I'm sorry, but there's a hawk nest up in the tree in my backyard, and that hawk's been around. We've seen it, we've heard it. And some years ago, I can only assume it was that hawk dropped one of its feathers down on my porch, like right before the door. And I always thought, well, that was for me, right? And it could be for husband or ex, and it could be for child, but it's just such a special, not normative experience.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So I'm just remembering another story, which I'll tell you in a second. But so the other day, I hear an owl outside of my window. Like I hear it outside somewhere. I'm inside and I hear it outside.
Okay.
It's not. Of course, we have owls here in New Mexico, but it's not the same as in upstate New York, where like any given night, if you live anywhere near the woods, you hear the owls hooting back and forth and communicating back and forth. We don't hear that very often here. And so I hear it and I'm like very excited. So I go to my window. I mean, it was kind of dusk and I knew I probably wouldn't be able to see anything, and I'm like, this owl, wherever it is super close, because that is loud. That's loud right outside. So I have a tree about, I don't know, 7-8 feet, not even.
Oh, you're cutting out. I didn't hear quietly. Sorry, Ellen, you were just cutting out of the recording. I heard you say, well, go back to the tree.
Okay, so the tree is very close to my window, and this thing sounds very loud, and I really want to see where it is. So I tiptoe out of my room and walk around to the back where that tree is, and this owl is at the very tippy top of the tree. Huge, great horned ones with I think it's called a great horned owl, and absolutely majestic and gorgeous. And it's doing its hooting thing, and it's sticking its tail feathers out.
Doing its hooting thing.
And it's
doing its like matchmaker mating dance.
And I can hear the mate or the whoever in the background. I hear the response. There's like a call and response. And so
what does that owl sound like? Oh, again, we're getting all discombobulated.
I wonder if it's because I'm outside. I'm going to go back inside because I have a feeling I might just be just a little bit far away from the house.
Okay.
So
In
can you just
meantime,
take a pause?
I will tell my owl sighting story when I lived in New Mexico.
Okay, just can we take a pause on the recording so I can get into
Yes.
the house? Okay.
So my story of finding an owl in New Mexico is, I think it was on a telephone wire. I even think it may have been on somebody's mailbox. It was very small. I don't know. Smallest owl I've ever seen.
Did it have long legs? Do you remember if it had long legs?
It was like seated on its legs, so I didn't really get a good look at them.
Yeah, we do have these kind. I forget what they're called, but they are
Are
very
those
small.
screech owls?
No, that's not a screech owl.
Okay.
I forget what it's called, but it's something that burrows in with other burrowing animals.
Oh,
Like they have like a symbiotic kind of relationship
yes.
with burrowing animals.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
those are more ubiquitous here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, great horned owl right outside my window. Very, very super, super exciting. Like I literally was jumping up and down like a kid, but I was trying to be quiet. But it heard me and it kind of looked down.
did it hear you jumping up and down?
I must have heard something. Like I thought I was like, I was just so
Yes.
I was like literally felt like a little kid, like, oh my God, oh my God.
So cute.
It was just very majestic and it was so close. I think that's what it was. It was just so close up. And anyway, then it flew away and that was that. And then a day before that or a day after that, I don't remember, I saw bobcat, which also, we have here.
Oh,
I've heard people say, oh, yeah, they see them all the time, but I never did. And now I did.
that's awesome.
In our
I never
driveway.
saw a bobcat when I
Yeah,
lived in New
they're
Mexico.
beautiful. They're really beautiful.
So beautiful.
They're
Wow.
not necessarily to be feared, not necessarily, Not
necessarily.
They'll eat your little cat or whatever if you. But
They won't eat your kid.
You.
So I would like to talk about starting with these two animals as totem animals. If one has a connection with owl and seems to see owl in a lot of places and at different times, owl is an interesting one because owl is like the shaman owl, but owl also can signify death. And it made me think of your friend who you just lost and then seeing that owl. So as Jeremy Taylor says, dreamer's choice, share as much or less as you want. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm actually just looking up owl medicine because I looked it up the other day and it said something different.
Deception. It says deception, I think.
Wisdom, and that comes across in every different website that I looked at, is wisdom, intuition, and supernatural power.
Yes.
Independent thinker and observant listening, which I really feel like that suits me. Like I feel like that is my medicine.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely like this doesn't say anything about death, but I'm sure there are other. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's a superstition, I mean.
Yeah, and I don't particularly, that doesn't really work for me actually, because what does that mean? I mean, yeah, what does that mean, death? I mean, I'm not saying what does death mean, but like, what does it mean, like to have owl medicine that signifies death? Does that mean
I might think
the death, or
if this was my totem and I saw the owl, I might think that it was, showing me,
excuse me,
bless you, showing me death on a metaphorical plane. So that could be synonymous with a spiritual rebirth. It's death. So something has to be let go of.
Yeah.
For then the rebirth.
Yeah, I guess I didn't experience, okay, so I will just say that my friend, I don't know if I shared this last time, but a very, very close friend passed away a couple of weeks ago when I happened to be visiting in New York, and she was there.
Good.
Happened to have been the last friend to see her several days before she died, and we spent time together and we made art together, and I felt very blessed and gifted by that connection with her right before she passed. And I did have a sighting of an eagle which I have never in my whole entire life seen an eagle. I mean, maybe
Really?
I
We have eagles here.
but this was so clearly an eagle. Like I
Wow.
just
Wow.
left her husband, who was about to essentially take her off life support, and I wasn't even home yet, and an eagle came right over my car.
These
So
are beautiful,
felt
beautiful moments. What did you feel? Did you feel like
I just felt like
a
that was
company?
I felt like it was her spirit just being like,
Spirit.
I'm soaring now. I'm not in
Yes.
this,
I love it.
this fucked up body anymore.
Yes. Yes.
Just
She's
so
free of the body.
yeah, it felt like that. And it felt like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, it
Yes.
just like, it just felt like her spirit moving on. That's what it
Love
felt
it.
like, her spirit moving on. And the owl sighting, the fact that I am seeing all these animals all of a sudden, I am sharing it with her
Yes.
husband too, because we're both kind of feeling this connection to nature and, feeling her and feeling connected to her through different things. Like he was talking about, he saw a monarch butterfly and he felt like that was her,
Yes.
just kind of flitting by, and just a reminder. So, I don't know what's true about all of that, but, it's comforting, I think, for people to,
And especially people who look for meaning in their lives, meaning seekers. Like that's very meaningful. Seeing a butterfly, and that would be transformation,
yeah,
and
definitely.
for my dream. So that's
owls to me, I feel like I want to dig this thing out and show you, but it might take too long. I've been into owls since I was a kid. But I didn't know what it meant or anything. I
yes,
knew that I thought they were super cool and beautiful
yeah.
creatures. And when I was, I don't know, 15 or so, as a project in high school, I did a twin size sheet, bed sheets size, batik of an owl in flight. It
Oh,
happened to have been a great horn owl, but I didn't
in
know.
flight. It's flying.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing. It's actually amazing. Like, I am saying this, I couldn't do it today. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
Yeah, it's
Your
quite
15-year-old self.
My
Yeah,
15-year-old self wasn't afraid of anything, and it was just like so enamored with this thing that I
that's
just
right. That will depict it. I
Yeah.
shall depict this.
I shall do this because it's cool. And I
Yeah.
did. So anyway, one of these days, maybe I don't know where it is. I'll take it out and show you. But
I'd love to see it. So it's kind of a good segue into my dreams about bald eagles, that I have identified bald eagle as one of my stronger animal totems. And I have like a series of dreams with bald eagles, and I'd like to share 3 of them. They're just snippets. They're not. And one of the dreams, and this is when I think I was living in New Mexico, I climbed up a tree. Oh no, there was an eagle sitting on a branch of a tree, and it made eye contact with me, the yellow eyes. And we just we're staring at each other. And the eagle said, a baby is going to be born. The midwife is there. And it was just like a very natural feeling, very native, possibly feeling, being in New Mexico. And so that was probably my first eagle dream. So then I was looking out for them. I mean, it looked me in the eye. It was like claiming me, and I had a dream that I was at the Ashokan Reservoir, which is a reservoir we have here in, where is it, Olive and all of a sudden, again, this is a dream, all of a sudden a huge bald eagle head rises up from the water. And I think I was floating around in like a kid's inner tube type thing. So I wasn't actually in the water, but I wasn't in any place to get out of there fast either. But I know, of course, I didn't feel threatened by it at all. But it was just such a sight to see this eagle rise up out of the water.
wow.
And then save the best for last. Another eagle dream I had. I dreamed that I was standing right in front of a bald eagle, and we were making out. I was making out with the bald eagle, and he he pretended to be smoking one of his tail feathers. He just like pretended to be. And he gave me, so I think he put that tail feather in my back pocket, like very flirtatiously. So that was Eagle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you make of that one? That one's kind of interesting. I mean,
I feel similarly with all three that they are claiming me, that I have some work to do, that Eagle finds valuable. I don't actually know. I just think.
What do you make of Eagle medicine? Like, sorry, I'm just adjusting this.
Fine.
I
like that one. Your skin is more like honey than super bright. Those who are just listening, Ellen is just futzing around with her
my lighting. I'm having weird shadow issues going on here.
That's interesting. So I think in the Native American animal cards, medicine cards, written by David Carson, who's Choctaw, and some woman, I'm sorry, I'm not thinking of her name right now, but she's co-written other books and probably authored some of her own. So Eagle in that book means, what does it mean? It means spirit. Eagle means spirit. And so, fly so high is Eagle has symbolized so many different peoples around the globe, who associate with Eagle, because it's, it's fierce and it's, wow, it's awesome. It's awesome, is I think.
I always think of Eagle as like independence. Maybe
yeah.
Like
because the U.S.
right. But I mean, I wonder if that's why they picked it. I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm kind of Googling things because I'm so curious.
And I believe the Native Americans, I don't know which tribe or more than one, also really valued Eagle, and Eagle was significant in their cultures too. Yeah. And I think Rome, right?
Wait, Eagle. Oh, I just saw something on it. So I'm watching like this teen drama show called Heartland.
Okay.
It's filmed on a ranch.
I actually like teen drama.
I actually do too. That's my guilty pleasure. And it's filmed on this incredible ranch somewhere in Canada. I forget where.
Yeah.
Amazingly gorgeous scenery. And anyway, it's all about horses and the relationships. Yeah. And, this young girl's like a horse whisperer and whatever. And there's a Native American, there's something that happens, and they're doing a ceremony, and this is a Native American guy. He's like the original sort of horse whisperer. And he says something, he holds an eagle feather and he's holding it up. And he said something like the eagle is supposedly the only being that has touched God, or touched the Great Spirit.
Wow.
Like, flown to touch,
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
But I was like, oh, that's super.
That's cool. I love
really
it.
Cool. So I think eagles, I think spirit, like you said,
spirit.
That's the connection.
Yes. Yeah. So, and what animals do you find in your dreams now and again?
Let's see. I tend not to dream. So, I mean, if I dream about animals, it's often like dogs and cats, like my dogs.
Like domestic. Yeah.
Domestic animals. Horses. I have horse dreams. Mm-hmm. Yep. Remember the horse dream? I don't know. Several weeks or so ago. And then there was
I remember we interpreted absolutely opposite each other.
Yeah, and I still don't really know what that one means.
Listener, that just goes to show you dream work is subjective.
Yeah. And the only one who knows what your dream means is you.
Exactly.
Right?
Projective.
Yeah. People have all sorts of opinions and thoughts. And, sometimes it catches you and it's like, whoa, yes, interesting. I never thought of that.
Yes.
It's like, nope, that doesn't really.
No, it doesn't feel right for me.
Yeah. So no, I don't have, I don't have those, kind of, magical. Like I remember when we were in Robert Moss's dream workshops together,
Yes,
and we would all
yes,
be sort of laying down in a circle and going on the dream journeys, right? And he would be drumming.
yes.
And I always, people would come back and I thought they are making this shit up. They would come back from
There's
journey.
no way they've got any
It's
time
like, oh, and
travel.
I was in the Crystal Palace and there was a puma and a lion. I'm like, come on. I'm sure I know. That was just me being.
I see, and that's you like first dipping your toe in with, well, I don't know if it's the beginning, with this group of dreamers. Robert Moss has a very specific,
Yeah, he draws a specific kind
like
of
a shamanic. It's like more
well, but
magical dream work.
yeah, like shamanic really works for me.
Yeah,
Earth-based,
yes,
nature-based
yes,
spirituality
yes,
totally 100% works for me.
yes,
It was all very fantastical, and so I'm not saying that people really didn't have those visions and
yes,
dreams, but it wasn't what I was having. That's what I
yes.
want to say.
Okay.
It just, that wasn't happening for me. It was all very, whatever I come up with, and some
Yeah,
of it was quite imaginative, but it was
yes.
never like wild animals or crystal palaces or magical castle or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm being a little.
I love it. I love it.
But
Well, yes,
yeah.
you mentioned imagination, and I thought that was another good segue. So
Mhm.
I've been doing, listeners, Ellen knows this, and I think you know this too. Last episode was episode 75. I feel like, woo, that's really intense. And so I think that the imagination is like one of the last places to venture. You're discovering what's in the ocean, or we're discovering now what's in space. But I think if we don't use our imagination for positive and like good images and healing and prayer, then I think that we're missing out on a vast resource within ourselves. And I've been now listening to three different teachers on YouTube. The first one, he's amazing. His name is Sadha Guru, and he's like amazing. I'll send you a link later. And the second one is, oh, I hope that's not a mouse. My cats are like doing something. The second one is, his name is Neville Goddard, and he's like from the 40s or something. It's like you wouldn't think that he's a spiritualist, or I wouldn't think that he's a spiritualist. He looked like just any other guy, and which reminds me of the line so I just saw The Matrix again, and I had to watch the ending 3 times because I just needed that. And at one point, Neo says to Trinity, I'm just a guy. Like, I'm just a guy. And then, of course, he was the savior of their world. So this man is just a guy, but the first couple of YouTube videos of him I saw, I felt like I was being given the manuscript for life. I felt like, oh, this is how we live life. Like I didn't know. I didn't know that, or possibly I knew parts of it, but it reaffirmed that for me. It was an affirmation for me in that way. And yeah, so I've been using imagination now, and I think I've talked about it in last episode also. I have created a prayer cathedral. I feel like I really believe in the power of prayer very, very much in every bit of my being. And I thought, well, then and I would like say a prayer here or there for whomever, but I thought if I really believe in this, then I need to, commit some time and energy. And one of the things that Neville says is, he doesn't call it the liminal space between waking and dreaming. And of course, Ellen, this is where we would incubate a dream in the liminal space, and then, getting ready to go off to dreamland. But he says that that is the place where you can manifest what you were thinking about so strongly or praying for. He's saying that that not creativity, but or maybe he is saying creativity or just imagination, but he's saying imagination is the Christ, and he's very biblical. It's quoting Old Testament, Torah and New Testament. And he feels that that is so connected because everything's already been created. Somewhere in scripture it says that. I don't know where. And so now we are the creators and we get to create whatever we want in our imagination. And, we think that we're not very responsible for what we think. It's not my words, it's not what I'm doing, just what I'm thinking or dreaming. And I am learning that that is not true. That in fact, we are expected to join a higher frame of mind. And that spirit is not going to let it just pass by. I feel like I'm learning so much these days. And one of the things that I did is I have created what I'm calling a prayer cathedral. And so I built it in my imagination. And at first I thought, is it made of stone? Is it like an old church? And then I was like, is it in a grove of trees and more of a pagan ritual? And but I would go there every night, and a friend said to me, I'm like, I just don't have it quite worked out yet. And my friend said, well, you're just laying the groundwork. You're just starting the habit of like going into this space. So it doesn't have to be like a fixed thing in your mind. I mean, it's your imagination. You can change it and expand it, or however it is that you want to work with such an image. So what it ended up being is, well, there's a stream there, and there's a wonderful spiritual seeker, animal communicator, Anna Breitenbach, who in one of her documentaries, it shows her sitting there, and she just lifts up a rock and places it down, and it's perfectly balanced the first try. And she's just so in tune with the world. And so she is sitting along the stream, and I learned, I keep saying I'm learning so much. I learned that in my imagination that this place needs to be filled with animals. It needs to be peopled with animal persons, And so, that was one thing that I learned. I'm learning so much. So I used to just fill up the cathedral in my imagination, but I learned, no, I need to greet the people as they walk in. And then I also realized they need to walk in the same way as if you were walking into a sweat lodge, where you walk in and you go clockwise around. And that's what I figured that they needed to do. And and some people just come by, they stop by for a day. They need a little extra juju, and some people are staying in that prayer cathedral because, and I feel that, I work with it a little bit. Like, I know who all the people are in the prayer cathedral. And sometimes I switch their places with each other, as I think, Story will be really good next to these children who just lost their dad. Or, she's like a great female luminary. I'm going to put her with these female luminaries from here to there, in the cathedral. And so, and it goes on. And one of the last things we do is, because there are so many healers in this cathedral, that we add our healing light into the center. And lately, wow, the universe is like meeting us, surpassing us, and like dynamic. And at first it was just us, you know, giving our prayers. But now, this is only like the past 2 days, you know, it's a storm of light. It's very,
You
very
say us, who do you mean?
us in the prayer circle, cathedral.
Yeah, just human beings? Yeah, who
Well,
do you
how did, well, in what context? How did I say
just,
it?
you just said, you know, us. We're, you know, us, and we're meeting them, and us, you know, you just said
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I think that's kind of cool. But
Did you mean you?
I don't know.
Got it.
Me, myself, and I. Us.
But
Yeah.
maybe you just mean other spirits like you who you're joining.
Yeah.
Maybe you're,
Yes.
maybe we're all joining in
I
that.
think we
Or,
are.
you know, some of us, not all of us,
Listen
but
to Neville Goddard. He's freaking
Yeah.
amazing. And then I also love that guy who lives in Taos.
Greg Braden.
3G Greg. 3G Greg. Just get it.
Is that how you remember it?
He uses the 2 G's at the end of his name. So yeah, and I find these 3 people I'm mentioning and so many others have the exact same message, that you co-create your life and that you just put focus on what you wish to attain, and you know everything works in your favor to have you attain it. And it's, I think, because Neville Goddard often says it's the secret. I think that it's based on his teachings, that the book, The Secret, was probably written. And I never read it. I did see the movie, and there were some things I was wowed by for sure, but I found it to be too materialistic. You know, oh, I put a $100 bill on my ceiling, and not $100 bill, $1 million bill or whatever, wrote out a bill, and he made tons of money. Or this woman who really wants that necklace in the jewelry store, and then oh, she gets it unexpectedly a week later. So I just felt like, you know,
Nonsense.
I'm
That's
not
what it's about.
interested. Say again.
That's not what it's about. It's not
No.
about material things, although you could
Although,
add if that's
wait.
what, if that's for the greater good.
That's what floats your boat.
Right. Well, you know, if I wanted money, it would be for something very specific, like some project that I want to build, community project or something. It wouldn't just be for like a new refrigerator or something.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. So I get that it's not about that, but
Yes.
it's kind of an
But
illustration.
I believe there, because it's that like meets like, is that what they call it? Or positivity brings positivity.
Law of attraction.
Law of attraction. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. That it's a vibration, and I really
believe
that too. It's
I
like
also do.
energy vibrates, right? That's physics.
Absolutely. I really
and if you're vibrating at a certain level, you're going to attract that,
yes.
thing.
Yeah. Right. That we have soul groups, not just soulmates. We have soul groups of people that we resonate with. And that's, resonate. I mean it literally. People we resonate.
Yes, literally. That's where that word comes from, right? It just really resonating.
Wow, I love it.
I think that's what that word means, really.
Yeah.
When we say, oh, you really resonate with that, it's like
right. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then once we've added so much healing, light, and energy in the middle, we being the people in Prayer Cathedral, and then the universe, then I send it out around the globe. And so I have in like minutia, in small detail. I was in like Louisiana, and there was an old woman on a respirator, and so I was also like giving her blessings, whomever. I was just imagining different people that could be struggling right now. And but it's really exhausting because I have to go to every continent. And if you're close in, it's a big world, but now, and I just learned this, I think last night. See, this is what I mean by saying I'm learning so much every day. Sometimes I used to, so at the end, sorry, I keep talking over myself. At the end of our prayer cathedral, when all of the guests have filled the space, then it's me and my 3 kids, my 2 boys and one of their fiance, and I say the Hebrew prayer that surrounds us with the angels. So we say, in the name of God, of Israel, may Michael be at my right, Gabriel at my left, Oriel before me, Raphael behind me, and above my head, the Holy Shekinah. So I've had to picture these angels in different ways, you know, in different cultures. They were all different cultures for a little while. And then it just got, again, it's kind of exhausting work. It's hard work, you know, like in the mind. And yeah, I hang on 1 second, Ellen, okay?
Sure.
I think Lev is going out. Sorry for the interruption. So I figured out, you know, what's true for me. I think 2 nights ago, that I can cover so much more ground if I separate the angels. It used to be the 4 of them. They were like the crew and they would, you know, bring the light around, the glue to everyone. And then I realized I can separate the angels. They can go 4 different ways. We can do this quicker and have more time for the healing center. It's not really a center. Yes, it is the center, but that comes next after the ritual of the prayer cathedral. And then I enter. I don't want to get too specific because I think sometimes when things are sacred, it's better to keep it inside.
Keep it in, yeah, absolutely.
But so I have been doing what these great teachers have advised. And well, Neville especially says, picture yourself, so I'm working on my healing. Picture yourself already healed. You're already healed, you know, and now this will come, you know, life will come to meet you where you are in your imagination. And I think that's amazing. So in that space of the healing little church that we have, again, I'm saying we, right? I guess I see it as we. It's a collective thing, you know. I've been getting really good healing touch from, and it's hard because you can't picture God. No one may see my face and live. You know, Hashem, God, the great God, doesn't look like anything, you know, but I have Shekinah there. That's what Christians might refer to as the Holy Ghost. It's the feminine presence of God. And then I have to say, even though I'm Jewish, I have a really strong connection with Jesus, but I don't want to call him Jesus because that connotes a lot of not great things in this world. But, and I used to call them, I would call God big G, and I would call Jesus little g. But then I thought, you know what, I'm giving him such an important work, you know, my healing, that I don't want to like Gabrielita, you know, I don't want to make him smaller.
Like you don't want to, yeah, it's like diminutive.
It's diminutive, exactly. So I was like, okay, well, let me think about a name change. And I thought, well, who is he to me? And I was like, well, he's a Jew and he's a rabbi, which also means teacher. So I was thinking, should I call him Rav or Rebbe? I wasn't sure. And then I was like, well, it's Rabbi Jesus. And so now I call him Raj, R-A-J. And Raj is like definitely my best friend. I mean, and then someone suggested, one of the luminaries, that you take spirit into your mother's inner chambers. I don't think they meant her body, but actually now that I'm saying it, it might be. But so I picture in my old house my mom's dressing room and her walk-in closet. And I'm not sure, but it's like the inner chamber, the place where magic happens in dreams, although not lately. And so I brought my, my group of folks of spirit to into my mom's inner chamber. But so last night, still in the liminal place. So I did all this. So it takes me a while. It's a good thing I'm not partnered, because when I'm going to sleep at night, I got work to do. I can't just drop off to sleep. And so that's why it's good to drink matcha green tea, because there's so much energy. I'm like, woo. But so in my dream last night, it wasn't even a dream, in that liminal place between waking and sleeping, I didn't think I ever fell asleep to dream. I don't know that I slept more than an hour last night. I was being healed by Big G. I mean, my legs were cramping up way more than usual at night. And I was like, okay, I was working on my legs, because I have to be able to walk strong. That's one of my problems with the MS, is my walking is so compromised, and equilibrium and balance. And so I was feeling all of the places where the energy was going. So it was first going into my calves, but also my feet. And I also felt like at one point then my hand started to, I'm like, oh good, he's working on my hand, because my hand is not as dexterous as it used to be. And he healed two places on my skull. One place was like around here, and another place was like in the back. And why that needs healing, listeners, because I used to fall a lot. And by used to, I mean, up until about a week ago, there's times I don't fall, but I banged my head a couple of those times, which I consider a bad fall. It's fine if I don't bang my head. And, I never got tested for concussion, but it's more likely than not, right? I mean, I've had some crack of the heads, and on all different materials. The worst was in a porcelain bathroom at a rest area. You don't want to land on the floor there. So anyway, to make a long story a little more concise, I felt like I was just being healed the whole night. And that's why I don't think I slept at all. And then this morning I got up fully sure that I could just walk, no walking aid, and I could skip. That's one thing I'm not able to do, because I can't get my right foot off the ground. I often drag it. My knees were bending while I was walking. So I fully expected that. But, it's any other day right now, as far as how my body feels and its abilities. I do believe, though, that I did receive that healing. So maybe now I'm at the point where Neville Goddard tells us that that we need to be in our imagination already viewing ourselves as absolutely healed. Or if a person wants a car, driving that car. And he suggests that we bring it into our five senses. Like what does it feel like? I'm walking on the sandy beach. What, it's, sand between my toes. And I have a little bit of sand in my mouth. It's crunchy, and the water's cold. And I smell the sea air, fish, what a beach smells like. And picture myself as healthy. And I guess I was doing that, trying to picture myself as healthy, but maybe I didn't do it true enough. And so now I feel like I really experienced this incredible healing last night. Now I'm healed. Now I can believe, I'm there already. I'm just waiting for it to find me, my healing, but again, full faith. I've always been very faithful.
Hmm.
And I think that will come to pass.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing all that.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, I love the what do you call it? The place that you go to heal people?
The prayer cathedral.
Prayer cathedral. I just, that
Oh,
really,
I never
touches my
even.
heart.
Wow.
Yeah. I just want to say that really touches my heart that
You
do
want
that.
to come in for a couple of sessions?
Sure.
I'm going to invite you in.
Sure.
I know just where I'll put you, next to the wise women on my right. I've got 4 wise women on my right, and that's exactly where you're going to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Why not? We could all use healing, right? And
Yeah.
so I wanted to say something too about you'd mentioned the green tea, and that gives you a lot of energy, and
Yes.
I'm sure it does. But I also think that when you are healing, even though it's tiring, there's also some kind of a cyclical energy. The giving and
Okay,
receiving,
yes.
giving and receiving, giving and
Yes.
receiving. I just think
I think so too.
Yeah. So I think that and that's really healing energy too.
Yes.
Right? It's not just, yes, it's all that others, that absolutely the like law of attraction, the imagine
Yes.
there, and all of that, like Joe Dispenza stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Right?
what I was working on prior to this.
Yeah, they're all right. They're
all trying to help us.
Greg Braden, they're all in that same camp of like imagine, it's not just imagination, but
Right.
that's where it starts, but it's actually like something happens on the molecular level when you do that. It's the science of it all is interesting for me. The science is always, even though, so I have a little bit more of that, like I have faith, but also like I love science too. So like,
I have a little more credulity than you.
You're a little more up here. I'm a little more down here, but I think we both need the balance, right? We both
complement each other.
Everyone needs that balance. And
yes.
Anyway, I do think that just in response to what you were just saying, your stories, and I think that the energy level. Yeah, I feel good about that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
That there's so much energy being put out.
Yes.
Coming back.
Yes.
It's like a joy. It feels like a joy, even though it's tiring.
The more you give, the more you shall receive.
And that's such a beautiful thing. I'm very, very touched by that. Yeah.
Oh, good. I forgot to say the most important part. It's not the most important part of the prayer cathedral. Is then it was like a circle, like a place of white birch. And then I realized I had to wrap fabric around the trees. And so I used, like royal red and purple. And now I'm thinking, did I just build a Mishkan? I think those are the colors of the Mishkan. And well, I believe, and I'm not positive, I believe that's the Ark of the Covenant, but I believe that the Jews built that in the desert, so that would be like a holy place to pray. But they're very specific of like not mixing linen with wool, and they have real specific ideas and talk about those colors as well. So that's cool to think about.
Yeah. According to the Hebrew Bible, the tabernacle, also known as a tent of the congregation, was the portable earthly dwelling place of Yahweh used by the Israelites. This is Google, Google.
I get a lot of, I'm always looking for random things. I have so much curiosity.
What does Mishkan mean in Hebrew? Means dwelling. Mishkan means dwelling.
Love it.
The portable sanctuary. That's so cool. I love it. The Mishkan.
All right, so now I have to know.
It's like the medicine bag.
The basin,
it's like a medicine bag.
Medicine.
Right? Like Native American medicine. They
like
carry
medicine.
They carry their medicine.
Yes.
Like a leather pouch, and wherever they are, they pull it out. They put the stones in the
tobacco.
Age and the tobacco, and it's kind of like that's what it reminds me of.
Okay.
Just also I just get kind of excited about the thread that runs through all spiritual tradition. Not
right.
religious. I'm not talking about the religion, right?
I can picture Tibetan
Just
monks.
the bottom line. Yeah, right. Like they all have something very similar and very,
Yes.
you know, it just makes me think like that is the human soul.
Yeah.
The human
Oh, I
soul,
love
the
it.
desire for
It was only after I wrapped it.
connection.
And again, this is like 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I decided, oh, I need to wrap it with material. It was only after I wrapped it that such strong spirit came from above, as well as what we were putting out from below. And I didn't know that till just now.
Yeah, wow. That's so cool. Very, very cool.
And so I feel now that I'm totally healed, and soon I'll be healing. And this is good. This is good news because I got a lot to do. And this MS really slows me down. So I got a couple of books in the coffers that I need to write. And a TED Talk that I would like to give. Yeah. I need to widen my goals. I need bigger goals, I think. So that's fun. And so here's something I realized. So I think I've said this to you. I was 25 when my mom died, and she was 50. So 25 years later, I'm 50, and my dad died. He's the one I wanted to call first when I woke up feeling like I'm all healed, because, he really cared. He really worried. He wanted his little girls to be just fine. So I wanted to talk to him, but then I realized, oh, he's a part of the healing job, the light, the healing that spirit was bringing, maybe. And so I couldn't call him, of course. And I was thinking, like, who else would I want to tell? And then I realized most people are going to be like, this person is such a dreamer, which is true. And like, I don't think I could tell certain people that I'm healed now. I just have to wait till my body catches up, And so what that means to me is, and it did, is do my physical therapy exercises. I haven't done them in months.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Do that. And I want to go, it's Rolfing, right? And they work on your posture for the way you hold your body. So I was 5'8.5" in high school, and then and this is like embarrassing. But now, and it changed incrementally. Now I think I'm 5'3". I think I have my height in my hips or my back, I'm not sure. So I want to go to a really good Rolfer. Do you know anybody in the area?
Do. Richard Condon, yeah.
Okay.
Condon.
Okay. Where is he?
He's in Gardner, I think.
Well, that's just perfect.
His wife is a midwife. She helped birth my friend's baby.
Okay.
And she used to be a body worker also, but she's a nurse midwife, and she's
one of the Rachels.
Yes, okay. One of the Rachels. Yes.
One of the Rachels.
Yes.
Yeah, we have wonderful midwives and
Birdie.
Yes. I know her husband.
Yeah. I worked with him once or twice. It wasn't working for what was going on for me, because ultimately whatever, it just wasn't. But I think he's very good.
Okay, thank you.
I just happen to know he is that. He does that well.
I need my height back, because I feel like, not for height's sake, but for like body alignment. If I really lost, 5 inches? That's horrible.
Yeah.
Am I an old lady?
Yeah. And it's, like it happens from sitting, and we shrink, and people do, their vertebrae get closer together. They don't have to, and they shouldn't really, but a lot of people just do, because they they're not as active, and they're not as, lengthened and open.
Yeah.
And,
so
get that. I think you can get that back. Definitely.
I'm going to try to get that back.
Yeah.
You'll hear it first here.
Yeah.
Stream listeners.
Yeah. So can I respond to I just feel like something that's coming up now for me, and I recognize listeners that we're not really talking about dreams, but life is a dream.
Life is a
And I don't
dream.
mean that like the song, but I mean
Right.
who
Right,
knows
really,
what's real,
I
right?
really mean it.
What's,
Yeah,
I say in quotes.
exactly.
And so I guess my response to all of that you're saying, well, I said already some things that I, that I was appreciating about your whole journey there. And that I said that, I tend to be much more kind of grounded. And I'm not saying you're not grounded, but there's like almost earthbound.
Yeah, which
Kind of
has its own power. And
which does have its own power. And I absolutely, to be honest, I love that about myself.
Yeah, as do I.
I do. I really appreciate that earthy groundedness and that sort of sense of connection with things that are tangible and sensual and God in the manifest form.
Yes, and that's
like the infinite presence is a word I'm loving now for
infinite
God.
presence.
Oh, that just works.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
So anyway, what I'm really wanting to say, and maybe my prayer for myself in the journey of wholeness, is to continue to connect more and more with the dream world, with the spirit world, with the spirit of the animals, with the spirit of things that I don't know and can't know,
right.
but that I believe. That's my prayer for myself. So it's almost like thank you.
For me as well.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you're getting it. You're there. You're like doing it. And I think that's why I feel inspired to say that, because I feel like you're really moving in that direction of so much connection to I don't even know what to say, greater, deeper, broader, spiritual concepts and experience.
And I'm telling you, these 3 thinkers on YouTube, what's Neville's name? Goddard, yeah. What's your fellow's name from Taos?
Greg
Braden, and Sadhguru. They're all amazing, and they're all saying the same thing.
Right. And I'm reading Joe Dispenza right now, who also says pretty much that same thing. He's very scientific.
Yeah. Yes.
I guess that's probably why he's but like out there, super out there concepts. So it's definitely not. Yeah. But it's kind of like, it's almost like I love that something has some scientific proof.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm that person who likes that. But I would like to just, have faith in things that, I can't know and can't see. I do, but I'd like to continue that journey to deepen that.
This is why I dropped out of philosophy in college, because they don't have faith. They want you to prove.
And
I was like, this is not the stream that I need to be walking right now.
I know, like Nietzsche and all those people. It's like, oh God, they're so depressing. You want to kill yourself after reading those books.
It's really so true.
Yeah. No, that
Dante's
can't be.
Inferno.
Can't be all there is. This can't be all there is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love having a richer psychical imagination. I love it. And I'm doing some telepathy. I think I mentioned that in episode 75, just last. I received like a telepathic message of a woman feeling sick, and I felt like I was on a sailboat in choppy seas without a rudder. And I knew it wasn't my feelings. I wasn't feeling like that. But the woman who I was meeting in the psychic plane was sending that telepathically. So that was just wild. I don't think, because Robert Moss often teaches us to dream for each other, right? That we can have a dream for someone who might seem hopeless, or and I think that's beautiful, but I don't think anybody's ever like dreamed for me. I mean, this is different because it's communication, but I just don't think that I have any, I know I don't have any memory of receiving. So I need to do well, except, when I was a little girl, we used to always say, and I think we probably talked about this in episode 75 as well. We used to always say, guess what color I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
You know, and then, or okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 20. So in that way, I think, yes, I was practicing like telepathic games, you know, but I haven't since then, I don't think.
That
Anyway,
reminds me of something just funny of when I was in 6th grade,
okay.
and me and 4 girlfriends used to go into the fields behind the school and put like 2 fingers of each hand underneath. Somebody would lie down and we would try to levitate them.
Oh,
Their mind. We would try to
you're so cool. You're such a cool chick.
I totally forgot about that until
I
you just
love
said
it.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever levitate?
No one ever levitated, but I do remember having this feeling of like
Lifting up.
something, like it was so cool. Like it felt like a spiritual, like I didn't know,
Yes,
put a word to it or
right.
anything. I just knew it was like not of the earth, like that something was going to happen because, you know, our minds and something's in the spirit world, or somebody was going to help us, some
Yes.
spirit, I don't know. There was something
I love it.
otherworldly about it. But of course,
Yeah.
nothing ever happened. But we kept trying. We would go out, you
Well,
know.
she just can't levitate. Let's try him.
Right, we would switch places. And, oh, you come down here, and it was so funny.
I love it. That's great. I mean, that shows your wide open mind and heart.
I think so, at least, you know, yeah.
Seeker through and through, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I have Venus in Taurus, which is very earth. It's very earth, sensual earth. It's like, it's like, you know, having enough money, having enough, you know, it's like, it's important for you to have those things. So I have had to sort of fight that a little bit in my life, like thinking, oh, what's wrong with me that I need those things, or that I'm so earthbound and not in the spirit world, when everybody was dreaming about crystal palaces and Merlins and oceans and whatnot, and I was like dreaming of a tree. I don't know, or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Very banal. So now I've come to love it. I think
my Venus is also in Pisces.
Oh,
which is, that's why I'm so very flighty.
Deep in the creative waters. Yeah. Yep. And it's probably why I have 3,000 Pisces friends.
Wow.
I mean, I have, obviously I'm exaggerating, but like I have so many Pisces in my life, so freaking many. That's
amazing.
And it keeps coming. It keeps coming. Like my new friends.
Are you Virgo? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm Gemini.
You're Gemini, of course.
But I have very little water in my chart, and so I attract the, you know, because Pisces and Gemini also are both very mutable, right? I'm floating in the air, you're floating in the water, but we're both floating. We're both kind of like this, right? So that we can sort of rock each other in that way.
Yes.
And you know, but Pisces, I think, helps me go deeper. I do think.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah. So
Ellen, this is what I have been thinking about. And listener, my mom died at 50, as I shared earlier, and I'm 51. She never lived to be 51, and there's a way that I have no idea what the fuck to do, you know, until I found these 3 they should all pay me money luminaries on YouTube, whatever. I mean, I'm joking kind of, but I was like, she never lived to be 51. So whatever I do with this tail end of my life, in a way, I'm doing it for both of us. You know, she used to say that to me. I used to follow my dad.
Meaning your mother, you and
my
your
mother. Yeah. So she used to say to me, you know, because I was more adventuresome, I went on tour, I traveled a little bit, mostly around the country. And she said, you take adventures for both of us, because she was born in 1945, where they had air raid drills and had to hide under their desks because of a nuclear threat, you know, and she was born, you know, at the tail end of World War II, when it was not a safe thing to be Jewish, and in Europe. And so she had a lot of fear, mostly from her father. I think, you know, he has to protect his whole family, and they changed their last name, you know, they did a lot. So she was, you know, she was saying, you be adventurous for both of us.
Mm.
So now, and I think I'm just realizing this right now as I speak, as I walk forward on the path, I am bringing Mom along with me. Oh, which is great. She'll join the entourage. We're all already pretty high up there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you've also got other people in your life who are older
Yeah.
than 50
I know.
who like me, who have
Yeah.
a life that, you know, you can sort of look at and say, oh, that's one way to do it.
Yes.
Right? Doesn't
Yeah.
have,
Yeah. So as
we're
role
all,
models.
right. We're all parents in a way, right? We're all
Yeah.
mothers and fathers, and even if we aren't,
Yes.
you
Oh,
are.
that reminds me.
Yeah.
If I may, I feel like I'm being a little long-winded on this podcast, but I don't think I slept last night. I was just being healed. I don't think I slept, but and then the sun rose and I was like, oh, I should get up and like watch the sunrise, even though it's not spectacular here. It's still meaningful. And, but then I decided I'll just see the sun later. And I kind of pulled the covers over my head, which I often do in bed. And I dreamed that I was in a high school. And this is a familiar dream high school. I've been here before in the dream time. And I was sure I was all healed. You know, I went through the healing all night. And then in the morning, this is what I dreamed. So I'm walking, and I believe the direction I'm walking is north. And I take my wooden cane and I kind of throw it down and I say, I don't need this anymore. I'm all healed, you know? And I think the first person I see is my friend Felisa. And then I see another friend of mine, and she's just chatty, chatty, chatty. And I fear that she's going to start talking to me about politics or something. And I said to her, no, I'm not embarking on politics right now. Like, I am steering clear. I'm not even reading the New York Times. I mean, I've been in such a dark funk, you know, during this pandemic. Oh, and the best thing about it is, so I have done twice my physical therapy. I'm trying to walk just with a cane and not with a rollator. And I decided that, you know, because I love to write, I've always fancied myself a writer. I'm going to start writing now, believing and knowing that I'm totally healed. I've been healed. I'm going to start writing. Oh, this was before I was healed, but thinking in my imagination that healing was coming. And I took a, you know, pad of legal paper, and I was looking for a pen, and we only had like magic marker pens or, you know, felt tip, whatever. But there was one ballpoint. I like ballpoint pens. There was one ballpoint, and I take it and I'm like, if this is purple, I'm gonna, you know, fly out of my skin. And of course it was purple ink. I only say of course because in my youth, when I used to be a writer, I wrote in journals on unlined, unruled paper with a purple pen. And the fact that this only pen that I've never seen it before. I mean, obviously it's someone's, but it was purple for me, was such an affirmation. So I feel like I'm getting good affirmations.
Yeah, you're getting good guidance.
Mhm.
Feels like you're getting good guidance and good
Yeah.
information, as you say, but guidance to kind of move in a certain direction.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I do feel like a lot is being asked of me.
Mhm.
And that's not a complaint. That's
Mhm.
just like the other night I was feeling so, and I didn't know what I was feeling. I felt like I was feeling scared, but that wasn't the word I was feeling. And I was like, I think I told you I was crying in bed. I hadn't done that in a long time. And because I was so scared. I'm like, well, what, it's not fear. It's not being frightened or something. And then I realized it's Yirah Hashem. So in Judaism, there's two ways to know God: Ahava Hashem, and Hashem means the name, because nobody is supposed to know the actual name of God. And Yirah Hashem is fear God, but it doesn't really mean fear. It means be in awe of God.
Right.
And so then I realized I was in a terrible awe the other night. You know, I didn't want to put fear label on it at all. Make it smaller. Like I was feeling overwhelmed with what's to come. And it wasn't a bad feeling. I think change is upon us. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not there yet, but I believe that, but somehow I feel like I'm stuck in something. So I hear that. And
Yeah.
that rubs
Do you,
off on me.
do you meditate, Ellen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do pretty much daily.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And that's so helpful. If I don't do it, it's really, I really feel it when I don't.
Yes. I'm not much of a meditator, but now that I'm working so much with breath, I mentioned this part.
Everything you're doing in a way is a meditation. All of that work.
Exactly.
No need to sit quiet. You're already like in the connection of all of that.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
It's about really calming my thoughts down. It's like the thing that.
Well, me too. When I'm doing my, whatever in my imaginal zone, I'm going to have a thought about this movie. And so I visually picture myself, put it up on a shelf for later. When you're done with your work, you can think about The Matrix. That's fine. I had to watch The Matrix after all this craziness because it's a crazy movie about a horrible possible future. I just I don't believe we're going to have a horrible future. I don't know why it was comforting to me to watch The Matrix for some reason. Not sure why. Yeah.
I have seen The Matrix a long time ago, but
right, 96, right? So
I would want to see it again, to really kind of.
It's you can rent it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's no sleeping dream, but what happened in my sleep or not sleep last night was so amazing that now I can truthfully practice Neville Goddard's practices. And that's actually, I remember I was going to say something, which is to say, after watching the first video that I watched of his, I felt like, oh my gosh, someone is giving me a manual. Did I say this already to you?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said it on the pod. Someone is giving me a manual. Sounds weird. Like instructions to live life on earth. And then I felt okay, because I was feeling helpless, hopeless, because my mom never lived to be 51. So what does it look like? What do I do? But then I saw his video and I'm like, okay, this is what I do. And again, it was more affirmation than starting a process, but I feel really great about it. And I feel like healing is here. I'm already healed. I have to take a road trip. No, let's go to Peru.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you, kid.
Oh.
I'm taking you on vacation.
Okay, great.
When I heal, everything falls into place. Not really, but not so. But when I heal, I'll have more energy. I'll be taller. I'll have more energy to do things. I'll be able to write. It felt so good to write with my hand on a piece of paper with a pen. And I don't do that because I have to do everything left-handed these days, even though I'm dominantly right-handed. I don't do that. I don't journal by hand. I feel like it's harder to journal with my left hand than it was with my right hand. But that just could be, I haven't been.
It's not your dominant hand. That's going to be.
Yeah, I haven't been writing with my left that long. So I found the manual and I feel really good about it. And I wish all you dreamers to find the manual for how to live a good life and how to manifest what you need in your life.
Yeah.
Amen.
The manual doesn't have to necessarily be like a book.
Right.
Just be a way, right?
Yeah.
Just a way that works for you to feel deeper into your heart connection to
Yes.
the infinite.
Oneness. The oneness.
Yeah, or the oneness. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Beautiful. So, well, that's my story. I thank everyone for their listening to it. And of course, I'll have more to share as we go along. But that's what I'm doing every night. No matter how freaking tired I might be, I feel obligated. I think they say in Judaism, once you do something 3 times, you're making a vow, and I can't remember the word, a nader. I think nader is making a vow that you'll take on this practice. So if you think you only want to light the candles for Shabbat twice, like don't light them the 3rd time unless you're gonna really commit to it as something you do on Friday nights, you know. So that's daunting as well.
Right, the responsibility. I mean, that's
the
true.
responsibility.
Yeah, there is something to that when you decide to be responsible for something, whether it's in yourself, a physical practice or a spiritual practice or something for somebody else. It's like you have, you've made a commitment, and yep. So that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a great journey you're on. Yeah.
This is why I have to bless my food with every bite I take, because I did it more than 3 times. So I always say a benediction, a blessing over the food, and thanking the farmers, and pause, the food we're eating, it's going to make our body. This apple is going to make this woman, and so I really like the idea of blessing it before eating it. And that goes for like drinking too. So this one I'm committed to. I did it more than 3 times some years ago. So I'm still doing it. But I was trying to make it a nader, a vow, to light the Sabbath candles. And I didn't. I couldn't. My life was just a little too chaotic. I wasn't, in the same place every Friday night or whatever. So hopefully I did it only twice. No, I think I've done it more than 3 times, but I wasn't able to keep that practice.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's okay.
And it's just fine.
Fine.
I forgive myself.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
That was the thing. I didn't know how big G, how God was going to respond to me loving Jesus Christ. I'm Jewish. And I was a little concerned, but give me a break. God doesn't care.
And first of all, Jesus was a Jew in the desert. So, I mean, his presence in religion turned into something else, but
right.
Who cares? Yeah.
You mean Raja, Rabbi Jesus, Raja, yeah. And he, again, I don't see the face of Hashem when I'm doing that meditation, because we're told no one can look upon me and live. So, okay, I want to live longer. So, but what Raj does for me is gives me God incarnate, and I've just been to so many Christian healers who feel so connected to Jesus, the figure, the Prince of Peace, and I feel like I'm American too. I grew up in a mostly or largely Christian demographic, and I when I was a little girl, my best friend was Protestant, and I would sleep at her house, and we'd go to church on Sunday morning. And there was only one time that I received communion, because nobody told me I had to be, I don't know what, as a baby to then receive communion, whatever rites of passage, but I received communion. And my friend at the time had a cold. And so she took the wafer, the body, and dipped it into the wine, the blood, and then ate that. And so I did exactly what she did, because so no priest put anything on my tongue. Is what I'm trying to say. Because I don't understand so much about, I mean, I've studied other religions, but rituals, I think the rituals that come out of religions are like just man-made. They're not ordained by God, in my opinion. Yeah. And how was your dream life last night?
Wow. I mean, I feel like we've been on for like an hour and a half. So
Oh, okay.
I'm feeling a little bit like we should probably finish it up. Ooh. And yeah. So next time.
Next time you're on.
Yeah.
We'll do you.
Yeah.
All right, Ellen, always so great to see you.
Always so good for me too.
With you. So thank you for joining us, listeners. Sorry we took too long. And Holamod Metukim. Sweet dreams.
Beautiful dreams.